For the sake of this video essay, let's assume that absolutely every single story that exists, no matter the medium, may it be a book, a film, a theater play or a video game, consists of three basic parts: a beginning, a body and an ending. And now, with this concept in our moved minds, I have a question for you. In your opinion, which parts of this structure are the most fundamentally important? To me, the most important parts of any story is its beginning and its ending. Think about it. If a film starts in a super interesting and engaging way, would you give up on it if the middle part is a little bit inferior in its quality? If all the most important aspects of a story are there, like the characters are interesting and easy to emphasize with, or the story's premise is promising and suspenseful, I would certainly not quit my Netflix, nor would I close the book. And the ending. Let's say that you're in the final half an hour of a film that set off in a very promising way, got through some narrative issues in the middle, and its finale is starting to play out. And everything is there. The stakes are high, the villain is well written and believable, and the technical execution of the climax is thrilling and thoughtful. What do you make out of this hypothetical movie? If I watched this kind of a film, I would probably still enjoy it and maybe even call it great afterwards, if the ending is quite perfect. I talked about all of this because today I'd like to focus on movie endings and the film director who absolutely mastered delivering them. And don't worry, none of his films has any problems with the beginning nor middle parts as well. I simply consider Denis Villeneuve the master of ending a story in an unforgettable way, and in this video essay I'd like to explain to you why. If you have to come up with an ending for a dystopian science fiction film which revolves around an AI humanoid which seeks to help his kind prove that it's more humane than actual humans because the AI humanoid robots can have babies, can feel, can fight for themselves and can have their personalities. How would you end a story like this? Would there be some epic showdown, lots of explosions, the triumphant victory of the good guys and the bad guys ridiculed? Well, Denis Villeneuve decided to conclude his Blade Runner 2049 with an image of the most human trait possible, the bond between a parent and their child. Even if Deckard meets his daughter for the very first time, and even if they are separated by the artificial dome that his daughter lives in, it doesn't matter. This highly intimate, wordless reunion of a father and a daughter means the ultimate victory of the replicants in the fight for upholding the values that most actual humans don't have anymore. And just take a look at how Villeneuve conducts this final scene. Without any visually complicated camera movements, without dramatic soundtrack, without over-the-top melodrama on the side of the actors. It's only the simplest scene possible, about the simplest theme possible, a parent and their child, which almost tenderly concludes the whole film. If you have a mysterious alien contact film undergoing, which revolves around the heroine learning the specific alien language that basically allows her to see the past and the future at will when learned, how do you end a story like this? The most important story beat in this movie is that the main character didn't actually have her child yet, despite the story starting that way. And, more importantly, that the main character still decides to have the baby, even though she can see the future thanks to the alien language and already knows that her child is going to die of cancer at a young age. How do you convey all of this info? Is there some kind of revelatory scene in which the main character tells, for example, her partner everything, and that's how the audience learn the emotional plot twist? Again, Denis Villeneuve prefers to go off the common path, and instead he starts to put together the puzzles he's been laying out in his film Arrival till this point. What is most important in this case, however, is that Villeneuve doesn't decide to put together simply information. He rather lets us, the audience, find out the movie's resolution by pure emotions. With significant help from Bradford Young's haunting cinematography and Max Richter's painfully touching score, the director takes us on an unforgettably emotional path of all the things Louise, the main character, sees and feels while making a crucial decision that's going to change her life forever. She's going to have that baby. Even if you know the ending of a story, it's the ride that matters, Villeneuve tells us. If you have a dark, violent, gripping thriller about a special forces female agent who gets into a horrendously dangerous war with a drug cartel on the border between the US and Mexico, how do you choose to conclude it? By an extravaganza of a bloody shootout with a heroic action of the movie's lead resulting in a victory over the cartel, but still with some minor chance for a sequel? By the end of Sicario, Villeneuve turns his look away from all the senseless violence and corruption of the movie's themes and prefers to observe the new generation of Mexican people instead. His camera, operated by one and only Roger Deakins, gets involved in a normal football match between some normal Mexican kids on some Mexican outskirts. It looks like a regular Sunday family time. The evil cartel boss villain is dead. What can go wrong? But then there is a not-so-distant sound of a rifle firing. All the kids look behind them to the sound which is high in the sky. It's almost as if they were confronted with their homes, upbringings, past, their realities. And after mere seconds, they just get back to the normal football match. Everything is normal on this family Sunday. The final shot's fade out tells us that nothing's changed. This is what they are going to grow up next to. If you have a suspenseful story about a normal teacher who one day meets his perfect doppelganger, who is totally different than him, fun, risk-taking, sexy. With this event, there comes a chance to change something in his life, to live someone else's life for some time. He eventually does that, what means he risks ruining his own life. His partner is pregnant, he has a comfortable, safe, figured-out living, and the main character seems to finally get over all the try-something-new stuff. He's back with his wife, while his doppelganger might lose his life because of his love for danger and adrenaline. However, we all already are in the cobweb of possibilities, choices, and mistakes. Are your guts telling you to conclude this flick with a warning to, for instance, not hurt the ones who love you and care for you just for fun or for trying something new? It's not even an option for Denis Villeneuve, who instead of a cautionary last scene gives us this.
Alan?
It's one huge question mark, a punch in the face. Nothing is really Hollywood-type simple when talking human experience. Is it a good sign? Is it something bad? What's real? Who's the titular enemy? Or if you have a riveting crime thriller about children abduction. Essentially, it all ends well. A police detective manages to rescue both of the kidnapped girls. But there's a catch. The film's villain imprisoned one of the missing girls' father, who, due to his belief that the police is not searching for his daughter properly, does it on his own. By the prisoner's final scene, Hugh Jackman's character is locked up in an underground corridor. The only thing he's got is a broken leg, an absolute no chance of getting out on his own, and a toy whistle. It doesn't look good for him, and judging by the film's grim tone, it's quite probable that he won't get out of this one alive. Meanwhile, Jake Gyllenhaal's police detective is right above the underground corridor on the crime scene, His team is collecting all the necessary evidence material. It's a cold, unpleasant, windy night, and he's still recovering after a traumatic fight for the girls' lives. He's practically going home at this moment, and it's the very last shot of the entire movie. But suddenly, he turns back. He listens. Did he really just hear a quiet toy whistle? Or is it just the wind? And don't even bother, there is no place for miraculous accidents in Prisoners. We already know, by this point, that it's not how Denis Villeneuve likes it. Even despite the fact it's the first English language movie he's ever done in his career. What does he have up his sleeve for us now? Cut. End credits. If you are familiar with Denis Villeneuve, you may have an objection. He is not a screenwriter. He doesn't really comes up with an ending for his movies. It's the screenwriter who does. However, it's him who chooses the screenplays he wants to turn into a movie, right? And as a movie director, it's him who decides how his audience is going to feel when leaving the cinema. If there is anything that only a great ending can do to a story, it's making the experience itself longer. After seeing an original, thoughtful ending scene, we leave the story under its spell, constantly rethinking the possible meanings or possible outcomes or consequences of the very last shot we see. In my opinion, that's the magic of powerful filmmaking, and Denis Villeneuve is the cinema's magician of our times. So, if you want to see a unique and one-in-a-kind film ending and you couldn't find one till now, go ask Denis. He knows perfectly well how to pull it off. Hi, I am Kuba, and you are in the final episode of My Move the Mind Season 2, Office. That was a crazy season. Together, we examined the role of gravity in Guillermo del Toro's films, counted down my top 10 contemporary movie directors, took a look at our lives with a little help from Charlie Kaufman's Synecdoche in New York, watched my first short documentary ever, dreamt Yorgos Lanthimos' worst nightmares, and just got through Denis Villeneuve's masterful way of ending his movies. Exhausting but rewarding, and I hope you loved that journey as much as I did. As always, don't forget to leave a thumb up, subscribe and check out my Facebook page so you keep up with all the moved stuff that happens there, and so you don't miss the Road Ahead post for Season 3. And I feel lucky to see all of you here moving our minds together. See you in 2 months. Cheers. Bardzo mocno dziękuję i Tobie, polski widzu. To dla mnie niezmierne wyróżnienie, że przejrzałeś lub przejrzałaś razem ze mną Grawitację w filmach Guillermo del Toro, wytrwałaś moje top 10 reżyserów na dzień dzisiejszy, próbowałeś spojrzeć na swoje życie z Synecdochą Nowym Jorkiem, obejrzałeś mój pierwszy dokument pod tytułem Moje małpy, przepociłeś najgorsze koszmary Yorgosa Lanthimosa, no i poznałaś klasę, z jaką Denis Villeneuve kończy swoje filmy. Nie zapomnij o kciuku w górę i subskrypcji, by niczego nie przegapić, oraz, tak już zupełnie na koniec, to już drugi cały sezon z Tobą, z Wami, w moim poruszonym umyśle. To dla mnie bodajże największe możliwe wyróżnienie. Nie zapomnijcie czasami zaglądać na moją stronę na Facebooku, by być na bieżąco i nie przegapić kolejnego posta z rozkładem miast, w którym poznacie motyw przewodni sezonu numer 3. A ja tymczasem dziękuję jeszcze raz za Waszą obecność w drugim sezonie Poruszonego Umysłu, którego tematem byli autorzy. No i do zobaczenia za 2 miesiące. Na razie.